like to start off with you, Benjamin, because before we get into everything about Article 146, it's important to find out, it's important to understand whether the Constitution as we have it would require a comprehensive amendment, or you say our Constitution is fit for purpose. It's just the implementers who are actually implementing it in a way that fits their partisan parochial interest.
Hello, my brother.
Yes, Benjamin, I can hear you.
Yes. Good afternoon to you, fellow speakers and listeners. Thank you for the opportunity to be part of this important discussion. Discussions about our democracy, our governance is more important than anything else, because that is the basis that we need before the development, the good governance, and all other things will follow. Yes. So your question, that's is our constitution, current constitution, fit for purpose? Yes, in a part sense, that but before that, permit me to state that I've joined this discussion in my individual capacity as a lawyer. I'm not in any way speaking for Parliament of
Sure.
Ghana or any other office. But speaking, everything here is purely my professional perspective. Yes, so the Constitution, you have to read the report of the Committee of Experts to understand the thinking that went into the structure we have now. And if you go into their memory through their report, they will tell you that, in fact, it was designed to achieve political stability as the core target or focus. But then there was also an attempt to embrace development as a fundamental principle to direct how we develop our country. And hence the attempt to include the directive principles of state policy. So it's not entirely the case that it was purely a political document. It has, its main focus, political stability, but also has some development in perspective. And having said that, I want to also point to the fact that, yes, in terms of political stability, we have achieved it by God's grace and our own contribution, that our country has seen an uninterruptible political democratic regime for over 32 years. And that's commendable. And at least the political sense, we have had it. Yes, economic-wise, fair attempt at developing our country to achieve socio-economic development. But of course, as an instrument that is being worked, as a document guiding how we govern ourselves, some difficulties have arisen through the years. And of course, an attempt to be made to mention some of them, but this is not the first time. It's been reflected in the previous, constitutional study and engagement for possible reviews and all that. So having said that, yes, we need some amendments. Constitutions are not just documents that can be replaced at any point in time. There is a fundamental document that guides us. And then we see that alongside the Constitution are formation of structures. Some structures have been put in place over the years, over 32 years. And so for any attempt to push it aside and set up a new system will cost us so much. And the sense of consolidation will be missed. We need to consolidate what we have. Yes.
No, you just landed and I'll come in. Go ahead.
Yes, we need to consolidate what we have. We have achieved fairly remarkable development, in both political and developmental sense, and we need to build upon that. Yes.
Now, before I get to areas that would need a change, you've talked about this being mainly for political stability, but the question then arises in writing a constitution mainly for political stability. Have we not in this constitution entrusted so much power in the hands of one person that could actually derail the efforts aimed at achieving political stability?
Sure, I get you. Yes, so as I made the point earlier, that it's not so the sole purpose, of the framers to, structure a scheme that will produce political, stability alone. It had other developmental dimensions. But to your question, yes, we have seen that there is some power imbalance among the three arms, and definitely the executive leads the fray. But I think that reading through the constitution and looking at monitoring the space, I think that possibly because it wasn't the totality of what was drafted, there was some elimination that has created this difficulty. The framers, if you read the report, it comes out clear that they even provided for the appointment or election of a prime minister who could share the power with the executive, to reduce the impact of that. But that was taken off. So you see that is the, executive president, even though they also, went for executive president, but there was somebody to emerge from parliament as the prime minister who could even belong to the opposing side. And that could sway the power as we have. And then they also had other systems, but because not everything was taken, because a lot of political negotiations went on to achieve this. So yes, fundamentally we need a change. We need some changes, but a full-blown new constitution is what I don't subscribe to, because I believe that we have certain structures that are firm and can be built upon.
Okay. I get to you about the changes that we need, but there's also been the school of thought that argues that, look, the constitution itself may not need a lot of changes. In fact, anything else we want to do could come in the form of an act of parliament. And so when there were challenges with presidential transitions, we passed the Presidential Transition Act, and that deals with it. And that the problem with the constitution happens to be how the persons entrusted with this power have implemented it. And if we really want to deal with these challenges, the easy way out is simply resorting to the passage of or the enactment of acts. Do you support that view?
No, I depart from that view, because the constitutional function should be recognized. That when it comes to setting up the framework of government, we need the ground norm to set up that structure. The constitution as we have it and the limitation of parliamentary power will not permit certain laws to be made just by way of parliament, passing laws. For example, there's a talk about having a second chamber and possibly converting the Council of State, to be the second chamber in Ghana, so that we'll have a bicameral parliament. For such a thing, you cannot use an act of parliament to do so. If you want to, take away the power of the president, or the mandation to get majority of ministers of state from parliament, you cannot use an act of parliament to do that. So yes, you need some laws to augment the constitutional framework, because our constitution is overly detailed. You compare it with the American Constitution and you see that, and beyond that, our courts have affirmed that the Constitution should be construed as a document of a sense of a living organism capable of growth and development, that even despite its detailed nature, it should be construed or interpreted to reflect current needs and demands. Okay. So even with that kind of philosophy, then when we say that we don't even need anything, if we have any difficulty, we just run to the court to give away. But if you want to go that path, there will be a lot of difficulties.